The battlefield was quiet now. Smoke floated in the air. The ground was wet with blood and mud. Broken weapons and bodies lay everywhere. Explosions had stopped. But the pain had not. She was an alien warrior, strong once, feared by many. Her skin was dark blue, with silver armor now cracked and torn. Her name was Zarixa, once a proud fighter of the Kareth Empire. Now she lay in the mud, her legs gone. She could still feel the pain, sharp and burning. The blast had torn her legs off hours ago. Blood had soaked into the ground, and now only the dirt and cold kept her alive. She tried to crawl once, but her body had no strength. Her hands shook. Her breathing was weak. She watched her own people walk past her. Her commander saw her, looked at her with disgust, and said nothing. One by one, the soldiers stepped over her, ignoring her eyes, her voice, her pain. "Help me," she whispered. "Please." No one stopped. In her world, a warrior who could not fight was useless, left behind, forgotten. That was the rule, and she knew it well. But still, some part of her hoped someone would care. But they didn't. Single quotes. Her vision blurred. The sky above turned darker. She waited for death. Then she heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, coming closer. She opened one eye, blinking through the dirt. A shadow stood over her. Not alien, not single quotes are human. A tall man in old green armor. Dirty, covered in blood not all his own. A rough beard, tired. Eyes, a soldier, a human marine. He looked down at her. Their kinds had fought many times. Enemies by birth, by war, by history. She stared at him, too weak to fight, too proud to beg again. But then the human knelt down. He didn't say anything. He just looked at her, really looked. Then he placed his rifle on the ground and pulled off his backpack. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice almost a whisper. He opened a small pouch and pulled out a medical kit. "Don't waste your supplies," she said, coughing. "I'm already dead." He looked at her again and spoke for the first time. His voice was low but clear. "Not yet." He worked fast, wrapping her bleeding stumps, injecting something into her arm that made the pain fade for a while. He moved like someone who had done this many times before. She watched him with confusion. "Why?" she asked. "Why are you helping me?" He didn't answer. He just kept working. Minutes passed. The sky grew darker. "You're human," she said again, weaker this time. "I am your enemy." The man finally spoke, eyes still on the wound. "You're hurt. That's all I see." Zarixa didn't know what to say. No one had ever said that to her. In her world, weakness was shame. Pity was poison. Mercy was for fools. And yet, this human, this stranger, was risking his life just to stop her bleeding. Another explosion echoed far away. "You should go," she said. "Leave me. They might come back." The man finished tying the bandage. Titan stood up. "Not without you," he said. He bent down, slipped his arms under her broken body, and lifted her up like she weighed nothing. She gasped, weak hands clutching at his armor. "You're mad." "Maybe," he said with a small smile. She felt her body rise, the pain returning with the motion, but he didn't stop. He picked up his rifle, held her tightly in one arm, and started walking. Every step was hard. Mud pulled at his boots. Smoke still burned his eyes. But he kept going. Zarixa rested her head against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat. Strong. Calm. "I don't even know your name," she whispered. He looked down briefly. "Doesn't matter." "It matters to me," she replied, eyes closing. He was quiet for a moment, then said, "Rex." "Rex," she repeated, letting the name sit in her mouth like something foreign but warm. The wind picked up. Somewhere in the distance, something howled, but Rex kept walking, and Zarixa, broken and near death for the first time in her life, felt something strange. Hope, that the first time she passed out in his arms, he thought she had died. Rex froze in the middle of the smoky forest path. Her head dropped back. Her body went still. No sound, no breath. For 5 long seconds he didn't move. Then she gasped. Her eyes fluttered open again. Weak and glassy, he let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "I'm still here," Zaraxa whispered. He adjusted his grip, pulling her closer to his chest, and kept walking. The path was rough. Trees twisted like claws around him. The ground was soaked from the blood of 2 armies. Ash fell like snow from the burning sky above. Every step felt heavier. Zaraxa was no small thing. Her alien body was tall, solid, built for war. But without her legs, she was dead weight. He could feel her blood drying on his arms, on his chest, on his back. But he didn't stop. Behind them, the battlefield was still burning. Enemy scouts would be searching. Rex had only hours, maybe less, before they were hunted down. He needed shelter, somewhere safe. Somewhere she could rest without bleeding out. She coughed again. "Why are you doing this?" "You already asked that," Rex replied quietly. "I still don't understand," she said, her voice shaky. "You're human. I am Kareth. You should hate me." Rex stepped over a broken tree limb. "Maybe I should. But I don't." Zaraxa looked up at him, confused. "Then what are you?" He didn't answer. After nearly 2 hours of slow movement, he found a half-destroyed scout bunker, hidden behind a thick wall of vines. It was small, dark, and smelled like smoke and rust, but it was dry. He kicked the metal door open and laid her down gently on a pile of old cargo blankets. Her body trembled from the cold and blood loss. Her skin was pale, her breathing slow. She was dying. That much he knew. Still, Rex got to work. He grabbed his water pack and carefully cleaned the wounds. He used more of his field medicine to stop infection. He wrapped new bandages, tighter this time. She winced in pain but didn't scream. She just stared at him. "Why do you care?" she asked again, more seriously this time. Rex didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, "Because someone once carried me too." Zaraxa blinked. "What?" "Back on Dursanine," Rex said. "I was shot. Left behind. My unit thought I was dead. But one woman stayed. She carried me through fire, saved my life." Zaraxa whispered, "Was she your mate?" Rex gave a small, sad smile. "No, she died before I could say thank you." The room was quiet again. The wind outside howled through the broken walls. "You remind me of her," Rex said softly. Zaraxa didn't know what to say. For the first time in her life, someone saw her, not as a soldier, not as an enemy, but as a person. Later, as night fell, she woke up again to the sound of something sizzling. She turned her head slowly and saw Rex cooking a small ration over a field heater. He brought the food to her lips. She turned away. "I can't eat, not like this." "You can, and you will," Rex said firmly. He tore the food into small pieces and gently placed one in her mouth. She chewed slowly, silently. No one had ever fed her before, not since she was a child. "I hate feeling weak," she said quietly. "Good," Rex replied. "That means you're still alive." Suddenly, they both froze. Voices outside. Rex quickly pulled his rifle up and moved to the wall. He peeked through a crack. Alien scouts, not Kareth, but worse, Solari, hunters who followed no rules. They were walking close, sniffing, looking for movement. Rex didn't breathe. Zaraxa reached for a weapon, but there was nothing near her. No legs, no power. She couldn't even stand. Her heart pounded. If they came inside, she was dead. Rex stepped closer to the door. Silent, steady, his finger on the trigger. The shadows passed by, then faded into the dark. He lowered his rifle. They were safe. For now, back inside, Zaraxa looked at him with wide eyes. "You stayed. I told you I would," he said. You're not like the others. He gave a shrug. Neither are you. And that night in that cold bunker, 2 enemies, 1 human, 1 alien sat in silence. Both broken, both alone, but both alive, and something had changed. Zaraxa once fought 10 enemies alone. Now she couldn't even lift a spoon. The morning light slipped through cracks in the metal walls. The air was cold. Her body felt heavier than before. Her wounds were sealed, but inside, something deeper hurt. Rex sat across from her, watching silently. He held a small food pack in one hand and a spoon in the other. I can feed myself, she whispered. He didn't move. You said that yesterday, then nearly choked, she growled softly. I'm not helpless. No, he said. You're just healing. But it didn't feel like healing. It felt like weakness. Zaraxa had always been a warrior. From the age of 6, she was trained to fight, to kill, to never cry. On her planet, showing pain was shame. Warriors with wounds were replaced. Now, she couldn't sit without help. She couldn't feel anything below her waist. She hated it, and yet, she hated more that a human and enemy was the one saving her. Rex carefully lifted a spoonful of soft ration and brought it to her lips. She turned her head. I don't need your pity. It's not pity, Rex said calmly. It's food. He held the spoon steady. Her pride screamed at her not to open her mouth, but her body was hungry. She opened slightly. He fed her slowly, patiently. I used to lead soldiers, she muttered between bites. I broke necks with one hand. I believe it, Rex said with a small smile. She looked away. Now look at me. I am, he replied. And I still see a fighter. Hours passed in silence. The bunker creaked as wind blew outside. Rex was cleaning his weapon, checking the radio, sorting supplies, always moving. Always ready. Zaraxa stared at the ceiling. What's it like? She asked suddenly. Rex looked over. What's what like? Being human, he raised an eyebrow. That's a new one. I mean, do your people abandon wounded soldiers too? Rex sighed. Sometimes. War makes people cold. Zaraxa nodded. My kind doesn't cry, doesn't stop if you fall. You're forgotten. He stood up and walked to her side. You think I don't get it? I've seen brothers shot beside me. Couldn't even grab their tags before we ran. She blinked. You have brothers? He chuckled softly. I mean brothers in arms, friends, soldiers. Oh. He crouched beside her, voice softer now. But I didn't leave them behind, and I'm not leaving you. She stared at him. You don't even know me. You're right. But I saw you bleeding. I saw everyone walk away. That was enough. Later that day, a low beeping sound came. From his radio, he rushed over. Signal boost, he said. There's a ship nearby. Could be human command. Her eyes lit up. Then you'll be rescued. He didn't answer. He was still listening. They're sweeping the area, he said. Extraction point is 5 clicks south. Her smile faded. You have to go. I'm not leaving without you. You can't carry me that far. I'll slow you down. You'll get caught. I'll manage, she shook her head. You've already done enough. He looked at her firmly. I don't do enough. I finish what I start. Zaraxa closed her eyes. She didn't want to cry, not in front of him. Not ever. But something inside her chest cracked. No one had ever fought for her like this, not her own kind. Not even her leaders. Only him. That night, Rex sat beside her. A small heater glowed between them. She looked at his tired face. He hadn't slept in days. His hands were blistered. Yet he still watched over her like a soldier on duty. Do you regret it? She asked softly. He glanced at her. What? Saving me? No. Even though I'm Kareth? He nodded. Even then. She swallowed. I killed humans, you know, I figured. Aren't you angry? He looked into the heater's glow. I've killed Kareth too. That's war. She was silent for a while. Then, what are we now? Rex didn't answer at first. Then he said, not enemies. And somehow, that meant everything. The sound of boots crushed the silence closer, closer. But she couldn't move. Zaraxa lay on her side, heart pounding. Her hands dug into the cold floor of the bunker, trying to pull herself behind cover. But she had no strength. And no legs. Outside, voices in a harsh alien tongue grew louder. They were here. Enemy patrol, not Kareth, not human. Worse. Evil ARI hunters. They didn't take prisoners. They skinned them. She tried to scream for Rex, but no voice came. Her body was frozen in fear. She could hear them, 3, maybe 4. Heavy steps, weapons clinking. One of them sniffed the air. Blood. One growled. They had picked up her scent. Rex stood still in the shadows, pressed against the metal wall near the door. His rifle was raised, finger ready. One wrong sound, one flicker of movement, and they'd be dead. He looked across the room. Zaraxa was exposed. She lay near the wall, too far from him, her blue skin shining faintly in the bunker's low light. She couldn't hide, couldn't run, couldn't even sit up. Her eyes met his for the first time. They showed fear. She shook her head, silently begging, "Don't die for me." Rex shook his head back. "I'm not letting them take you." The first Solari stepped into the doorway, tall, sharp armor. Its face had no lips, just teeth. Yellow eyes scanned the dark bunker. Rex didn't breathe. Zaraxa didn't blink. The Solari sniffed again. It took one step inside. Then another. Its foot crunched on something, a broken piece of metal. It growled and raised its blaster. That's when Rex moved. Fast. A single shot. Silent and perfect. Straight through the Solari's skull. The body dropped like a rock. The other two shouted in alarm. Rex rolled behind a crate. Another shot fired. One screamed and fell, but the third, faster than the others, threw a flash grenade into the bunker. Boom! The light exploded. Zaraxa screamed in pain, covering her eyes. Rex's ears rang. His vision blurred. The last Solari charged inside. Rex grabbed his knife. They clashed. Zrix blinked rapidly, trying to see through the fading flash. Her eyes caught a blue Rex and the Solari tangled in a deadly fight. The alien slammed him into the wall. Rex grunted, dropped his rifle. The Solari raised a blade, ready to finish him. "No!" Zaraxa cried, with all her strength. She reached for something. Anything. Her hand found a sharp, broken pipe. She pulled it close, lifted it with shaking arms, and threw it. The pipe spun through the air and struck the Solari's back. Not deep, but enough to distract. Rex used that moment. He slammed the knife upward right into the Solari's throat. It collapsed. Gurgling. Silence returned. Rex leaned against the wall, bleeding from a cut on his arm. He walked over and dropped beside Zaraxa. "You threw that?" he asked, catching his breath. She nodded weakly. "You're welcome," he smiled. "Nice aim. I used to train with blades," she muttered, "before I became half a corpse." "You're not a corpse," he said. "You're still fighting." Later, after the bodies were dragged outside and burned, Rex cleaned his wound. Zaraxa watched him quietly. "You didn't have to stay and fight," she said. "I always stay," he replied. "I couldn't do anything. I just lay there. I was useless." He looked up. "You saved my life. With a pipe. That's more than some soldiers with full bodies have ever done." She looked down. "I was scared." He leaned forward. "Good. Fear means you want to live." They were quiet for a while. The fire crackled outside. Then she asked softly, "Would you still carry me, if I had no arms too?" He looked her straight in the eye. "I'd carry your heart if I had to." She waited for him to fall asleep, then tried to crawl away. Zaraxa dragged herself slowly across the bunker floor. Her arms trembled. Her bandages tore. She bit her lip to stay silent. 1 meter. Then 2. She reached the door. Cold air rushed in from the outside. Her fingers gripped the metal frame. This was her plan. Leave while he slept. Make it easy for him. No more carrying. No more danger. He could escape without her. But before she could pull herself outside, his voice stopped her. Where do you think you're going? She froze. His shadow covered the doorway. He wasn't asleep. Zaraxa didn't turn around. You should leave. The ship is near. You have a chance to survive. So do you, Rex said firmly. She shook her head. I'm not your mission. I'm dead weight. I'll slow you down. You already said that, he replied, walking closer. I mean it this time, she whispered. Go. He didn't move. Just stood there, staring at her broken form in the dust and ash. Then, for the first time since they met, he raised his voice. Do you think I'm doing this out of pity? She looked up at him, stunned. I've bled for you, fought for you, carried you through hell, and you still think I don't mean it? He shouted. Her lips trembled. You shouldn't have to. But I chose to, Rex snapped. You didn't ask. I chose you. Silence. Only the wind answered them. Then his voice dropped low. You think you're saving me by leaving? You're not. You're breaking me. Zarax's throat tightened. I don't want to watch you die for me. He knelt beside her. And I don't want to survive if it means leaving you behind. Her hands shook. She lowered her head. I'm scared. So am I, he said quietly. But I'm still here. She looked into his eyes, so human, so tired, but still full of fire. Then she nodded. I'm sorry, she whispered. He pulled her gently into his arms. Next time you crawl away, I'm tying you to my back. She laughed through tears. I'd bite you. I'd still carry you. The next day, Rex started building something. He found parts from broken crates, wheels from a wrecked drone, some metal rails from the collapsed roof. Zaraxa watched him work. What are you doing? He didn't look up. A cart. For you. A cart? You want to roll, or should I drag you like luggage? She blinked, then smiled. You're serious? He grinned. I always am. By nightfall, he had built a rough but working cart, with wheels and straps. It was ugly, loud, but it worked. He helped her onto it carefully. Adjusted the straps. She sat upright for the first time in days. How do I look? She asked. He smirked. Like a queen on a broken throne. She smacked his shoulder. You're lucky I can't kick you. Yet, they left the bunker just before dawn. The forest was quieter now, but not safe. Smoke still rose in the distance. Patrols still searched for survivors. Rex pulled her cart slowly, carefully. His hands ached. His legs burned. But he didn't stop. Zaraxa held her weapon tight, eyes scanning the trees. If anyone comes, she said, I'll shoot first. I'll shoot faster, Rex replied. You wish. She smiled. So did he. They walked for hours. The rescue point was still far. But something had changed. She didn't feel like a burden anymore. And he didn't look alone anymore. The ship landed in a storm of dust and wind. But they didn't even look at her. Zarixa sat in the cart, her body weak but alert, as the powerful Terran dropship descended from the clouds. Its engines roared. The ground shook. She thought this was the end of the nightmare. But the real pain hadn't started yet. Rex stood beside her, waving a flare. A team of Terran soldiers ran out, weapons ready. They surrounded him in seconds. Human. ID confirmed, the officer said. Marine Rex Dalton. Missing in action. Welcome back. Rex pointed at the cart. She's with me. The officer looked, then. His face changed. Alien, the officer muttered. Karef species. Why? Is she alive? She was wounded. I carried her, Rex said. You carried that? The officer frowned, as if Zaraxa was just a broken machine. Zarexa clenched her jaw. She helped me survive. Rex added. The officer shook his head. Doesn't matter. She's enemy. Protocol is clear. No alien evac. Rex stepped forward. She's not a threat. She's not our problem, the officer snapped. Zarexa lowered her head. This again, rejected, like always. Even after surviving the worst, they still saw her as trash. Rex looked down at her. Her eyes didn't show pain this time, just emptiness. And that broke him. The soldiers began walking back toward the ship. Rex didn't move. Sir, one soldier called. Aren't you coming? No, Rex said loudly. The officer turned. Excuse me? You heard me. The wind picked up. Rex's voice was calm, but sharp like a blade. If she's not going, then neither am I. Marine, stand down. I won't. The soldiers raised their rifles. So did Rex. Straight at the officer. Gasps echoed around them. Zarex's eyes widened. Rex, don't. But he didn't blink. I've bled, fought, and survived because she was beside me. You leave her. You leave me. A long, tense silence. The officer stared at him. You'd give up your rescue for her? Rex nodded. Without her, I don't deserve it. One of the younger soldiers whispered. Is that really her? The Kareth Shadowblade? The officer hesitated. You were a warrior? Zarexa raised her head. I still am. The officer looked at Rex, then at the bruised, battered alien in the cart. Then he cursed under his breath. Fine, one seat. She stays chained and watched. No chains, Rex growled. Then she stays here. Rex didn't lower his rifle. The officer sighed. Fine, no chains. But if she moves wrong, she dies. Rex nodded. Understood. Minutes later, the ramp opened. 2 soldiers helped lift Zarexa into the ship. She didn't speak. Her eyes stayed locked on Rex. When he finally stepped onto the ramp, she reached out. He took her hand. I told you, he said softly. We leave together. She squeezed his fingers. I believed you. Inside the ship, silence. Dozens of soldiers watched her like a bomb that might go off. Zarexa ignored them. She leaned back in her seat, feeling the hum of the engine for the first time. She wasn't on the ground. She wasn't crawling. She wasn't left behind. She was flying, because someone refused to let her be forgotten. She walked into the room, and every soldier turned to stare, some with shock, some with confusion, some with quiet respect, but none could believe what they were seeing. Zarexa, the legless alien warrior once left to die in the mud, was walking. Her new mechanical legs clicked softly against the floor of the human rehab center. Silver and strong. She moved slowly, but with pride in every step. And at the end of the hall, waiting with folded arms and a half smile, stood the man who never gave up on her. Rex. Weeks had passed since the rescue. Human doctors had worked day and night to save her. She had almost died twice. But Rex had stayed by her bed every time, refusing to leave. When she finally opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was him asleep in a chair beside her. You again? She whispered. He grunted without waking. Told you, not leaving rehab was painful. Learning to move, stand, and balance again felt like fighting a war inside her own body. The machines were cold. The training harder than any battlefield. But she never gave up. Because Rex was always there cheering, teaching, challenging. Stand taller, he said once. I'm not short, she growled. Didn't say short. I said tall, he grinned. And now, she stood at the door of the soldiers' lounge, no longer a patient. No longer just a memory from the battlefield. She was Zarexa, the warrior who lived. Rex stepped toward her. Told you you'd walk again, she nodded. I doubted you. I never did. Inside the lounge, voices whispered. That's her. Didn't she lose both legs? She fought beside a human? Why did he even save her? Zarexa heard them all, but she didn't care anymore. Because Rex was beside her, and she had finally found something her people never gave her. Respect. That evening, as they sat on the roof under the stars, she looked at him. You never told me. Why? Why what? Why you didn't leave me behind? Rex leaned back and looked at the sky. Because when I saw you, broken and bleeding, I didn't see an enemy. I saw a soul, a fighter, someone like me. She was quiet, then said, They called me broken, even before I lost my legs. I know, he said, but you never did. No, Rex said softly. Because broken things don't fight back. You did. She turned to him. And now? He smiled. Now you walk taller than most people with legs. She leaned her head gently on his shoulder. Thought I'd never feel whole again. You're not just whole, he said. You're stronger. And under the stars, where wars had once torn worlds apart, a human and an alien sat side by side, no longer enemies, no longer alone. Not. Every battle is won with weapons. Some are won with loyalty, with hope. With a single choice to stay. When everyone else walks away,